What would you do if the man hired to kill you was your wife's secret lover? The night everything broke was a Tuesday, not with a bang, but with the chilling silence of a phone screen glowing at 2 a.m., illuminating a message that wasn't meant for me. My wife, Sarah, lay beside me, feigning sleep, while her digital life, a life I knew nothing about, screamed betrayal from the palm of her hand. The message was simple, brutal. He's still alive. What do we do? My blood ran cold, not just from the infidelity, but from the terrifying implication that someone had tried to end my life, and Sarah was somehow involved. The world tilted, and I knew with a certainty that pierced my soul that my carefully constructed reality was a lie. I was standing on the edge of a cliff I hadn't even known existed. The message was from a number I didn't recognize, saved under a generic name, Contractor. I didn't need to open the phone to know it was him. Sheer audacity, the cold-blooded calculation. It was a punch to the gut that left me breathless. I slipped out of bed, the floorboards creaking under my weight, each sound a thunderclap in the suffocating silence. I went to my study, the room where I'd built my life, my business, my future, all of which now felt like a house of cards. The first attempt on my life had been 3 months ago, a random mugging in a dimly lit parking garage in downtown Chicago, near the financial district. A figure had emerged from the shadows, a glint of metal, and then a searing pain in my side. I'd fought back, fueled by adrenaline and a primal will to survive, and somehow I'd made it out, bleeding, but alive. The police called it a botched robbery, called it a miracle. Now, I knew it was a hit. The second attempt, just last month, was even more insidious. A malfunction with the brakes on my car, a sleek Mercedes I'd bought Sarah for her birthday. I'd been driving on Lakeshore Drive, the city lights blurring when the pedal went dead. I'd narrowly avoided a catastrophic pileup, swerving into the emergency lane, my heart hammering against my ribs. The mechanic, a gruff but honest man named Tony, had found evidence of tampering. He'd shrugged it off as a disgruntled former employee, but I'd felt a chill then, a sense of unease that I couldn't shake. Now, it was a blizzard. Sarah had been acting strangely for months. Little things at first. Late nights, always with a plausible excuse. Her phone, once left carelessly on the counter, was now glued to her hip, face down. Her eyes, once warm and inviting, held a new, unsettling coldness. Calculating glint I hadn't noticed until now. She'd become distant, her touch mechanical, her laughter forced. I'd attributed it to stress, to the demands of her burgeoning interior design business, to anything but the truth. I was a fool. I started watching her, not with suspicion, but with a desperate need to understand. I installed discreet cameras in the house, a decision that felt invasive, dirty, but necessary. I hired a private investigator, a grizzled ex-cop named Miller, to follow her. The evidence started to trickle in, then flood. Texts, photos, hotel receipts from the Peninsula, Chicago, a luxury suite booked under a false name. The man in the photos was a brute, a hulking figure with cold eyes and a predatory smile. He was the contractor. He was the hitman. The humiliation was a physical weight, pressing down on my chest, stealing my breath. My wife, the woman I'd loved, cherished, built a life with, was not only cheating on me, but actively trying to have me killed. The sheer depravity of it was unfathomable. I felt a profound, agonizing, emotional breakdown. I would sit in my study, the city lights twinkling outside, and just stare into the darkness, the silence amplifying the screams in my head. But amidst the despair, a cold, hard resolve began to form. I wouldn't just survive, would make them pay. I began to meticulously gather proof. Miller, my pie, was a ghost, documenting every illicit rendezvous, every whispered conversation, every financial transaction. He found bank transfers from Sarah's offshore account to the contractor. Payments for services rendered, or rather, services attempted. He uncovered their plans, their contingency strategies, their sickeningly casual discussions about my demise. I had recordings, photographs, financial records, a mountain of irrefutable evidence that would bury them both. Sarah, meanwhile, grew bolder, more manipulative. She'd leave her phone in plain sight, knowing I wouldn't touch it, a cruel game of psychological warfare. She'd subtly gaslight me, questioning my memory, my sanity, making me doubt my own perceptions. "You're imagining things, David," she'd purr, her eyes devoid of warmth. "You've been working too hard." Her arrogance was boundless, her belief in her untouchability absolute. She thought she had me cornered, a lamb to the slaughter. She had no idea I was the wolf. I started setting my traps. Legal traps, social traps, financial traps. I consulted with a top divorce attorney in Los Angeles, a woman known for her ruthless efficiency. We meticulously planned the legal assault, ensuring every loophole was closed, every asset protected, every avenue for her escape sealed off. I quietly transferred my personal assets, securing my financial future, leaving her with nothing but the illusion of control. The social traps were more subtle, more insidious. I began to plant seeds of doubt among our mutual friends, carefully crafted anecdotes that hinted at Sarah's erratic behavior, her financial recklessness, her growing detachment. I didn't accuse. I merely observed, letting their own minds fill in the blanks. I wanted her isolation to be complete, her support system to crumble around her. The public exposure happened on a crisp autumn morning in a packed Los Angeles courtroom. The divorce proceedings were supposed to be a formality. Sarah, resplendent in a designer suit, exuded an air of confident superiority. Her lawyer, a slick, smarmy man, began to present her case, painting me as the emotionally unstable, controlling husband. Then it was my turn. My attorney, Ms. Albright, stood, her voice calm, measured, but with an underlying steel. She presented the evidence, piece by damning piece. The phone records, the hotel receipts, the photographs, the bank transfers, the recordings of Sarah and the contractor discussing my accidents. The courtroom gasped. Sarah's face, initially a mask of disdain, slowly drained of color, replaced by a ghastly pallor. Her smugness evaporated, replaced by a raw, animalistic fear. The contractor was arrested that afternoon, picked up at a seedy motel in downtown Dallas. He sang like a canary, implicating Sarah in every detail, every attempt on my life. He was a hitman, yes, but also a coward, easily broken. Sarah was arrested the next day, her carefully constructed world collapsing around her. The headlines screamed, the news channels blared, her name synonymous with betrayal and attempted murder. Her interior design business, once thriving, became a pariah. Her friends, once loyal, vanished. Her family, disgusted, disowned her. I saw her once more, months later, in a federal courtroom in New York City. It was a shadow of her former self, her designer clothes replaced by a drab prison jumpsuit, her once vibrant eyes hollow and defeated. She was convicted on multiple counts, her sentence long and unforgiving. The affair partner, the hitman, received an even harsher sentence, his smugness replaced by a lifetime of regret. I walked out of that courtroom into the crisp New York air, a free man, but not an unscarred one. The revenge was complete, the justice served, but the quiet emptiness remained, a haunting echo of what was lost. The silence was deafening, the victory hollow. The taste of revenge is bitter even when it's deserved. The end.